And hi, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Dr. Sally Good, and we have a podcast today called Good Body and Good Brain. And that ties into something I'm very, very interested in, wealth and health, wealth and wellness, because it's pretty hard to enjoy that wealth if you're not feeling good. So I have asked Bob Honadle, can I say that right?
Yes, you
Say
did.
it right.
Yep.
I did. Yay. I asked him to come join us today. And so I'm going to let him tell you just a little bit about his background before he became the sort of what I saw linchpin of this new way of doing business with small business owners. And I'm so excited to have you today here, Bob. So you just go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. Thanks, Sally. I appreciate it. My past, my history is I've got 35 years. My last 35 years has been leasing and doing financial stuff with owners, and I sell copiers and digital presses and all types of stuff like that. Prior to that, I did everything from running businesses to being national managers, flying all over the United States, opening, closing offices, all that type of good stuff. So I found my way into this because I just love the finance side of the business, and I love helping small business owners.
Yes, and when we had a conversation a few weeks ago, and you were telling me some things about business owners because, as you know, I have people coming into my world that sometimes are undercapitalized in terms of getting started in very large programs. And so I was seeking people that I felt like would be more in what I call my dolphin pod as opposed to sharks. Because I talked to quite a few sharks out there on LinkedIn, and I said, no, my people are going to have a special kind of person to help them with all their financial stuff. Not only is he going to provide them with products, he's also going to give them a little bit of investing advice and credit advice. So what information would you give to a newbie who's just connected with you and wants to figure out how to get his business going, or her business?
Either or, right? So
Yes.
really the first item that everybody needs to think about when they start a business is, number one, you need to make sure you're not a sole proprietorship or something like that. You need to be an LLC, an S Corp, a corporation, whatever. And then the second thing is you're going to need money. You're going to need money to run that business, right? It's going to cost money even if you sell or do whatever. You're going to have costs that are going to be on board. There's going to be costs for your equipment and costs for whatever you're doing. And you got money coming in and money going out. It's called cash flow. So you're going to need cash flow. So that's the starting point. You got to have at least that.
Okay. Well, you touched on the small business person definitely being an LLC or some other configuration, but not be a solopreneur. And how does that relate to how they can get credit?
So it's kind of important, because what an LLC or one of the corporations end up doing for you is they protect you from a standpoint of security, so that your whatever you do in your business isn't going to affect your personal life, right? Your personal and your business are completely separate. At least that's what they're supposed to be. And then what happens is that people don't have enough money, so they bootstrap and they use their existing money and bring it into the business, right? And start utilizing some of that type of stuff. So,
or heaven forbid, their credit card.
Right,
personal
exactly.
credit card.
Personal credit card, right? And credit cards is a whole nother piece. When we started talking about credit, I mean, even me, my business, I'll be the first to say I got the big surprise that everybody else gets. And that is you go to a bank, you get your checking account, you put your money in, you get started. They say, hey, you want a business card? And you say, sure. And so you get your business card, and the first thing you do is you think you're out there earning credit every time you use your credit card. And what you find out really quick is that your business card has your name on it as well as your company. And if it has your name on it, it's really a personal business card. You're not earning any credit. So I went out and spent a lot of money on a bunch of different stuff, and then I needed a loan. And when I went back for the loan, guess what? They said you have no credit. So that's where this all started for me, is how do I help people so that they understand where they're at and what they're doing? Because there's so many people that are starting businesses that are so important for us, right? And, if you look back 10 years ago, 55% of the GDP in this country, okay, was small business. And that meant they took care of all that employment. In the last 10 years or so, that shrunk to 45%. And we need to do something to help them to be more competitive out there.
Yes, and they're still vital to the communities. Without small business people, we wouldn't have places together and have a cup of coffee and check out on what's happening to Aunt Ida and where did Pastor go this weekend. We wouldn't have all those opportunities without small business people. And they're kind of the glue, I think, besides the church, that keeps the whole small community rolling.
Absolutely. I mean, without small business, I don't know where we'd be. I mean, they employ more people than corporations do in the United States, where they did. Now it's getting out there, but there's approximately 30 million small businesses in the United States. So that's a lot.
That is a lot. And over your time, like you're just hopping into this kind of new way of dealing with small businesses. I know it's like a sort of a newer thing for you than things you've done in the past. And what was the impetus towards going towards small business guys as opposed to some of the big fish?
Well, from a small business standpoint, when small businesses get started, the big fish have money. You go to Walmart and you go to buy something at Walmart, right? Everything on the shelf, all right, they haven't paid for. It's just sitting there. They get 90-day payment terms or 120-day payment terms. It's sitting there. You go in and buy it 30 days into it. Guess what? They not only have your money, have paid for the product, they still haven't even bought it. They're getting interest on your money, right? And growing their money, where small businesses don't get any of that. So we need to find ways to get them money to be able to help them out, right?
Yes, and I in the back of my mind, I kind of knew that the big box stores kind of did things like that, because I've had people like who say like, "Oh, I'm gonna sell my product at Walmart," and I said, "Oh, really? How is that going to work? How many units do you have to provide? Do you have to do your own stocking? All those kinds of things. There's a lot of added time costs. Because Walmart is God love them. If they hadn't been around during COVID, I don't know how people would have gotten toilet paper.
Well, there you go. Yeah, people need those things, right? So
Yeah,
big businesses in corporate America are very, very important. But small business is really, the big business has a big advantage over small business. And what we do, or what I'm doing now, is trying to make that more fair, okay, between the two if they ever have to compete. And so what nobody teaches small business is, you can go to college right now and probably get a master's degree or a doctorate degree in finance, and not anybody's going to talk about what I'm going to talk about today, right? About how to get business credit and how it works and all that type of stuff. And it just doesn't happen. Everybody I talk to out there is like, how come I don't know about this? I've been in business for 30 years. I've never heard this before, right? And 3-4 years ago, nobody even talked about this because it didn't exist. This is really a niche product that we've, I guess, invented, right? And to help small businesses to get loans and teach them how to get business credit so that when they get loans, they get good rates.
And that's the name of the game, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what we're trying to teach. So what happens is that with small businesses, when they get started, all they care about is selling, right? They sell and they don't pay a lot of attention to their books. They don't pay a lot of attention to everything else. And they get to the point where all of a sudden they need money. And the first place they run to is a bank, right? And the bank's going to pull a hard credit score against you most of the time. And then they're going to tell you don't have any credit. And if they're not going to loan to you, or they're just going to loan to you a little bit of money or give you another credit card or give you something else that's going against you, right? They're not protecting your business. They want your personal backing on everything. So you got to be able to be ready for all that, right? And so how do you do that? You have to build business credit. So to build business credit is tough because in the world today, or in the United States at least, only 6% of all the businesses in the United States report good credit. Okay. Everybody reports bad credit. You don't pay something, guess what? We're going to find you. Okay. We're going to let them know. We're going to show that you made a late payment or whatever. But if you don't find the companies that report good credit, you can't earn credit, right? So if you don't have the credit, you can never build your business credit. And that's what we do. We've gathered all these companies together. We know who they are. And we help get you in front of them and set up trading agreements and stuff like that with them, so that you're buying from them.
Well, I think that's fabulous because you know who they are. You know where the sharks are. Because, some people get desperate and they will get money from anybody because they know they're going to make it out really quickly, and the really quickly doesn't come and they get stuck.
Well, one of the things I appreciate is just this podcast, because one of the most difficult things out there is how do we tell people that we even exist? Most businesses don't even know that our product's out there, right? So yes. We're up on LinkedIn, we're up on everywhere we can, but how much advertising can you do? And who's going to click on a button that says, hey, I want to learn more about business credit? Everybody just assumes they have it, right? Most people don't even know what their business score is. I mean, when you deal with business credit, there's a couple different ways of doing it. I mean, a lot of people will talk about the Paydex score, and the Paydex score goes from 0 to 100, and you want to be 80 or better, right? It's just like personal credit goes from 350 to 850, completely different numbers, right? And you want to be in the 700s or better, when you're doing something like that. And really, small business now deals more with what's called a FICO score, and the FICO score goes from 0 to 300, and you need to be at least a 160 or better if you're looking for loans, or you're looking for money, or you're looking for good credit. And all these scores, basically what they are is the higher the number, okay, the better you make payments, right? Not pay late, right? So that's what the banks want to know. That's what everybody wants to know. Are they good payers? Right. And so that's where we build from. So the better the score, that's what we teach. So we actually, when you join our business credit class, okay, we actually put you in front of a bunch of MBA scholars and lawyers and everything else out there to be able to help teach you where to get it, how to get it, and all that good stuff. And then people say we can get it ourselves, we can Google it, we can do all that. Good luck. You can also hire somebody to help you do it, right? There's going to be a cost to it. And where are you going to get all your scores from? Where are you going to follow all this stuff from? Who's going to teach you this? There is no book. There is nothing out there to do it on your own. So we offer something pretty special to the SMB world. So,
well, what I appreciate about you, Bob, is first of all, you're a really strong family man, and you have what I call higher values. And from that place of higher values, you're not going to take one of my clients and put them in an instrument that doesn't work for them, because that will come back and bite you quicker than you know what. So it's so important that you get to know people, they get to know you. A podcast is a very good way to do that, because they're going to, listen to your voice, hear what you're saying. Oh, he makes sense. I just didn't know all this stuff, right? And I remember you telling me that it's important to get an EIN in your company's name also before you get this whole ball rolling.
Absolutely.
And it takes about 5 minutes online.
Yep, that's about it. And I even recommend getting yourself an attorney, at least to get you going, because what happens is when you go to get your EIN and you send that 5-minute piece in, then you get about 2,000 pieces of mail saying you got to do this, you got to do this costs this costs that. And a good attorney will say, I'll do it all for you, and you don't have to do any of it. and it doesn't
Yes.
cost a lot of money to have them do it. They put it together quick for you. You get yourself a nice business book, and you're ready to go, right? So it makes it easy.
And also, too, you need to look at all the fees and licenses and all those kind of things you have to have for either small municipalities or for the state. Like I said, I'm in
Absolutely.
Texas. It's a $350 just to file. They will
There
let
you
you
go.
know whether your name has been already taken without having to pay anything, which I think is pretty good, because you can Google till the cows come home and somebody might already have something in their back pocket. So yeah, going to a bank and having a banker understand small business, and that's one of the reasons I like to shop at credit unions.
You know
I
what?
was with my bank for 20 years. Darn it, she just retired.
Well, credit unions are great, and the problem with some credit unions is they don't do a lot of small business. That's the issue. But the big thing with small business is, the whole idea of the LLC or whatever is to protect yourself. Everything's about protecting yourself, right? So it's the same thing with insurance. You need insurance and things like that when you get started, right? You need business insurance, you need cyber insurance, you need to protect just general policy. You got to have to be able to protect yourself too when you're doing business. So all those things are important. And the sad part is that when you go to get money from a bank or something, you're lucky if 1%, no more than 2% of the banks out there are going to provide you any cash or money at all. So that's where we come in. We operate from a completely different spot. And the better you are with business credit, the better rates you're going to get, the better everything you're going to get. And we are probably the most different company out there. It's a one-stop shop for everybody. And what I mean by that is, when you come to us, okay, we can start. And if you got a decent business credit score and you need a loan, we can do anywhere from 10,000 to 50 million. Okay, so no problem getting the money. The idea is having the right credit, right, to be able to do it. So when we put your application in, when you put it in at a bank, it goes to one person. When you put it in almost anywhere, it goes to one place and they make a decision. With us, when you put your application in, it goes to 120 commercial lenders in the United States. So, and you know what they do? They compete to see who is going to provide the best rate to be able to come to you. And we take the top three, right? And then the top three, we sit with you and we see what works best for you. And we put you into that loan. Now, if for some reason you don't end up with anybody, you're not done. We don't say goodbye like the bank and everybody else and show you the door. So we have what's called a free business scan, right? And what the free success business scan does is basically you go up to our website, you basically fill out the same type of application, all right? And when you're done and you hit that little button that says scan, about 45 seconds later, you get an email from us. The email has your member ID, your password, and a client login to our site. And once you get up there, there's all kinds of videos and stuff to step you through. I usually have my clients let me know. We'll jump up like we are right now up on a meeting. We'll throw it up on the screen and we'll step through it. But you can step through it yourself if you want to. The first piece is access funding. And what it does is when you click on the access funding, it'll bring up 16 different types of funding, everything from credit cards to SBA loans to term loans to equipment loans to anything you can think of, right? And they'll show up and they'll either turn green with a little green mark or they'll turn red. And if they're green, it means there's a good chance you're going to be approved right now. All right, if you wanted to apply for that. If it's red, and you click on it, it'll say, here's all the reasons you do not qualify.
Why?
Now, when you
we're not going to give this to you. Yeah. You
yeah,
have to do better
So-
next year.
exactly. And when you go to a bank, they don't tell you why you're denied. They don't have to. So they could deny you for something as simple as, hey, you didn't register your business with 411 information. It's like, who knows even what 411 information is anymore, right? Younger crowd probably doesn't, right? Or you have a post office box, or your cell phone is your business number, right? So here, this gives you all those different pieces. And when you sign up to do business credit with us, we step through all that tedious work with you to make sure that everything's correct, even that your commas before your LLC, if you have one, is to get you through that. But anyway, anything that lights up green, the second best part about it is say you get 4 green lights, right? So you get 4 different types of loans. You can apply for all 4 because we only do a soft pull. So when we do a soft pull on your credit, it's not affecting your credit. Your credit's absolutely fine, right? We don't touch your credit until the end. And sometimes more than one loan is a better idea than just one loan because you got to build trade references, right? Your trade lines to be able to get good credit. So we help you step through all that. So
and
it's a great
also
program.
too, it sounds fantastic, and that's why I was so impressed with it when you told me about it. I went, oh, we got to get this out to more people. More people have to know about this. This is so important. We're greasing the cogs of business here. We're helping small business people stay afloat, stay in business, while these crazy interest rates are going cuckoo. We've got to keep people with hope and float. I call it. We've got to be able to float up there and also hope that there is good news coming down the pike.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's another good thing about our website and about what we do. And that's if you don't want to do business, okay? So one of the big problems everybody has is they don't know what the credit score is. So they don't know what kind of rates they're going to get. They don't have any advantage walking in trying to get money, right? But with us, the free business scan basically takes you through to show you what you're going to get approved on, what you're not before you go somewhere, right? So even if you don't do business with me, you still have the login. And 3 months from now, if you want to log back in and see how you're doing, you can log back in and see how you're doing. You can see if you can light up more green lights, right? And I'm always available for questions and answers and that type of thing to be able to help you out. But at some point, by going through these business programs that we put together, you'll make tenfold, depending, 100-fold, 1,000-fold what you spend on earning, business credit on what your savings are. We actually took a person that was buying 10 vehicles for his business, and I think his commercial rate ended up being something like 8.99%, and it was as high as 15%, but he was buying 10 vehicles. And so going through our program, he could have had that same interest rate at about 4%, and the difference was close to $250,000 in savings and interest rate over the course of 10 years. I mean, that can be your money or it can be the bank's money, right? So we're here to help. Well, I'm passionate about it. I'm here to be a game changer for you.
Yes. Well, also too, tell me a little bit about like the backdoor thing, the technical thing. How did someone come up with this business scan sort of thing? What were all the parameters that you said, oh, it's got to have this, it's got to have that, we have to have all this?
So really the business scan is very, very simple. It's on my website. It's on all our websites, right? And basically you go up, you click on it, and it's just going to ask you some basic questions. No social security number, okay? Nothing like that. So it'll ask you, how many employees you have, how much revenue do you bring in each month? There'll be questions like that through there, your business address, your business phone number, all that type of stuff. There's not a lot to it. And you can go right to my website and click on a button and you're in it. And a couple minutes later, it's sitting in front of you by the time you finish it out. It's 2-3 pages long, but short pages, it's not a lot of information, but enough information that we can at least determine whether or not you have credit or not. So to see if we can help you out. But our goal is to help you out. And before people tank, themselves and their credit, which, and most do it without even knowing it, by going to a bank or by going to something and not going to ever get that loan, right? So you want to keep little things in mind. If you want, people say, you'll read a lot of stuff up online about things like, well, the credit card industry is in bad shape right now because so many people are going after credit cards. Well, if you're a business owner and you want to go get a credit card, you better have a 700 credit score, okay? Because anything lower than that's pretty tough to get, all right, for a credit card. And you better be making $75,000 plus a year, whether it's personal, business, or whatever, to be able to get that. And, then we can do that. But for somebody like us, instead of just giving you the old credit card, we can give you a credit card that's 0 interest for, 9 months to 18 months if you got those type of scores. And so that's why we like to catch people early, and why they should start right away and start looking at it, even if they're just starting day one, right? Let's see where you are. Let's see what's going on, and don't do anything to damage your credit score. Make sure you're making your payments on time, right? That's a biggie. Don't have late payments, because that's going to affect your credit score. So we're here to help.
Well, yes, and also to just having somebody who can sit down and give you that information. Because I work with so many entrepreneurs out there, and they don't know the first thing about business in terms of monetary. What they need credit wise, what do they need to capitalize something they're going to do. They don't have a budget, God forbid. It's true.
You know what? I got to be honest with you. Most don't. And you know what? I didn't, right? I think I'm a pretty darn smart guy, right? I've been dealing with leasing and loans and $250,000 and $1 million and whatever. And you would think you knew it all. And when you see silly things like, today's age, everybody has a cell phone, right? But if your cell phone is your business phone number, bank can deny your loan just because of that. Okay, for not having a business name, address, business phone number, all these type of things. So it's silly, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help people. So they're more than welcome to connect with me up on LinkedIn. I would say jump up on LinkedIn, connect with me, and have a conversation anytime. My website's up there. Everything's up there that you can go to help you out, and I'm here to help. So I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it.
Well, the wonderful thing about having a real person that you can see and know, it's not a voice on the phone. It's not somebody you have to leave 10 messages with to find out what's going on. That's the beauty. It's more like we used to do business in the old days. My dad would go into the bank. He had a big department store, and he would go into the bank and he says, I need like whatever 10,000 for the next 3 months to get through payroll, because he also financed sharecroppers. There were many people in our environment, they only got paid once a year, and that's when they took that crop to sell. They got a ton of money, but then they still had to distribute it around to all their creditors. And my dad was willing to wait for a year to get paid. Now, that used to drive my mother crazy. It drove her crazy. Yeah. She'd say, JB, why are you doing this? You're not going to get paid for another year. He said, well, that's okay. These people need to make a living. And when they get paid, they'll pay me. And then maybe I'll get a bushel of corn, or maybe I'll get a few chickens, all those kinds of things. But that's what we used to do in the old days. And he would go into the bank and it would be a handshake. I never saw him sign a single piece of paper.
Isn't that incredible? And the world has changed, hasn't it? So
yes. And when I went off to college and I needed to get a little, car, I got a little red Rambler. I don't know if you remember Ramblers. Got a little red Rambler. It was used, and my dad just went in to make, to put down the money, and the person said, "Oh, you don't really need to do that. You can just, you'll just can sign a note if you want to, and then she can pay as she goes. You don't need to do all that." And he went, "Oh, okay, that sounds good."
Pretty easy business credit back then, huh? Just a promise and a handshake, right?
A promise and a handshake, absolutely.
It doesn't work that way now. So no. The one big thing I want people to really understand, because every business owner, to some extent, thinks they're bulletproof, okay? And the sad part is, even though there's 30 million businesses in the United States, on average, 600,000 of them, that's a lot, 600,000 go out of business every year here in the United States. When you divide that out by the number of days, that means today over 1,600 businesses went out of business, okay? And every day, over 1,600 businesses go out of business. Don't let that be you, right? You can call.
Yes,
we can
and
help.
The other thing the other thing about small business people, if they don't know, if in other words, if they're not budgeting, if they don't have some sort of plan to figure out where their money's going, or how they can you don't really need this thing over here. You think it's a really like a nice bell and whistle, and you think it makes yourself look better. It has nothing to do with the service you provide, and most customers don't care.
Right.
They want to know that you can do the job for them,
And that
and
you're going to be
that's
around.
what.
Right.
Yes,
You're going to be around
and
to
I would
help them.
think that there would be enough people who don't know how much money they really need to run their business. And I would think the number one cause of them failing is because they don't have their cash poor.
It's absolutely right. It's the cash flow is, so ready for this, out of the 600,000 businesses that fail, okay, 80%, okay, fail because of cash flow, and they can't get it anymore. And that's after they bootstrap themselves, after they used personal money, after they borrowed their parents' money, after they borrowed their
Mm-hmm.
friends' money, or whatever, and they still fail. And if you ask them, and people have done research and say, could you have kept going if you had cash? And it's like, absolutely, we could keep going, right? And so, they go out of business because they can't do it and they just don't have the money. But, you sit back and you look at that and you say, well, there was a company back in 1997 called Apple. We all have iPhones, right? We all have that stuff. And in 1997, Apple was one of those small businesses that was not going to make it. Okay. They were pretty
Right.
much done. They were at their last landing. And there's a
They
gentleman
were
named Bill Gates.
gasping.
Right. Exactly. And there was a gentleman named Bill Gates, who's a competitor, that invested $150 million. I think it was $150 million into their company, and they turned into $1 trillion company. So having that cash flow can change the way a business goes, right? There was a small business that became what we imagine not having an iPhone or an iPad or anything like that right now. It's crazy to even think about it, isn't it? So,
And if you go back in time, you can probably like run into at least 50 or 100 who are now giants because somebody took a chance on them or saw
right.
the potential of what they had and were ready to say, okay, I see you as the person you are. You are not your credit score. You should have one, but you're not that. You're a person who is valuable to the community. And most of the people I work with are interested not only in just the bottom line, return on investment, they're also interested in what's the impact I can make in my community and the world. Am I going to
absolutely.
make it a better place?
That's the goal
And
here,
so those,
right?
yes, yes. And that's why we desperately, really need more people like you who can see those things and have an idea of how you can help. You probably got a whole backup, a cadre of like if somebody says no, you know, uh, you could say, okay, well, we can go over to this tier of lenders. It might cost us maybe one more percentage point, but we can get you the money.
We should try to get everybody the money. And the hardest part is
Mhm.
when they let their credit scores start getting down to, 550 or whatever, it makes
Mhm.
it difficult. Then you got to really go to almost like a credit repair service or whatever
Mhm.
to try and get some of your credits straightened out or fixed. And by then it could be late. You're already in debt. You're already in trouble. You're looking for money and you need money to spend to be able to repair your credit. So it makes it difficult. But we do everything we can. I mean, we're going to do things that banks aren't going to do. We're going to try and help you. The biggest thing is it's not just the loan. The loan's great that you can get, and maybe you pay a few more percentage points or whatever. But if you go get the business credit early in life, early in your bank, in
Mhm.
your business, you will save, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of folds of just in interest alone, for
And
doing that.
yeah, and on
Business credit's
everything,
everything. Yeah, business
your
credit's
car
everything.
your car insurance, your car
Yeah.
insurance,
Your insurance would be
your house
cheaper. Everything.
insurance,
Your business,
everything.
everything becomes
Absolutely.
cheaper. It's just 6%. Remember, 6%
Mhm.
only report. How do you find them?
Mhm.
So that's the
Mhm.
advantage. If you're trying to do it on your own, you could probably do it, but it's probably going to take you 3, 4, 5, 6 years to do it. If you go through
Mhm.
us, we can get you through your business credit probably in 4 to 6 months. And we guarantee, we guarantee that we'll help you get through it up to a year, but it's up to you to go through and complete what we tell you you got to
Mhm.
complete to be able to get there.
Yes.
So
You're going to give them the blueprint guideline to get there, and they're going to have to be willing to do the work.
they have a number to
Well,
call and
Bob,
talk to somebody every day.
yes. I am so happy. I don't know how I managed to bump into you on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is a fabulous place. I know so many wonderful, powerful people who are willing to help each other. Um, I ran into a gal the other day. She loves animals, and she's producing a book called Pawthers, and she's looking for pathers instead of authors. She's looking for
Wow.
someone who wants to write a story about their own individual pet, but it's written from the pet's point of view about you. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. And she said, I'm just having a hard time getting people to understand what it's about. I said, well, heck, I know a lot of pet owners on LinkedIn. I'm going to see what I can.
There's tons of pet owners on LinkedIn.
Yes, and she said, well, I've been sniffing around a little bit, and I think you could probably give me a hand because I do joggy rescues. That's my philanthropic thing to the world.
Nice.
I keep them from getting euthanized, and that's just a nice word for killing them.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, you're quite welcome. And they helped me, I helped them.
I love my dogs.
Yes. And when having children, especially, you have all boys, right?
Yep. Actually 6. So
mm-hmm.
They're all a little bit older.
Want them to, they also want to know how to teach them early how to be responsible for a living thing.
Some of them have their own dogs already. I would say half of them. So actually maybe more. Yeah. So dogs have been a big
Bob,
thing.
Yes. Do you have one last tip you could give to our listeners about what they should do future-wise, or if they're got a 5-figure business and they want to expand, what would help them get more credit better in a faster way?
Well, I would say their best thing that they could do right now is at minimum just connect with me up on LinkedIn. In fact, I did a post today, that pretty much is everything what this podcast is about. All right, from beginning to end, it kind of laid out the way that we provide our loans and help with business credit and all that stuff. So that would at least give them a key or whatever. But if they went up and at least connected, they have some source to be able to go to when they need to, because there's nowhere to look anything up. Look it up in Google, look it up anywhere. Where are you going? I mean, most places are going to send you to a bank. You go to your credit union, your credit union is going to say, we don't even do small business, right? And all of a sudden you're sitting there needing money and not knowing what to do. And if you got decent credit, we can get it to you quick. So we can help you out fast. And so the earlier you get started, the better. Don't wait. Don't think that you have it and just don't
right.
Wait.
Yeah, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday.
The scan is free, right? My scan is free. If you check all of them green, then just go on your way. You're all set. But I'm going to guess that you're not. So, and that we can help you out. But I mean, it's a free scan. So why go out and spend $100, $200 on your Experian or your Equifax or whatever score, right? So why you don't have to spend the money. Come to me, do a free business scan. We'll try and help you out. So we'd love to help you out.
This has been so wonderful, not only for me and my potential clientele, but a lot of people. I'm going to, of course, put this on LinkedIn and on all the other social medias, Twitter, Instagram. I don't play with TikTok. I don't do little dances. But all the places where business people reside, and just to get the information out. And it's just been so delightful. And you're such a good-hearted person. I knew that about you right away, and that you were going to try to serve people before you tried to sell them.
We're only here to serve. That's my big goal. I've been around in life for a long time, and if there's ways that I can help small business, I mean, I just don't want to see that 45% go any lower. I want to see it go the other way. I'd love to see small business be 60% instead of 55, right? That means that this is a much healthier country at that point. We're much healthier at that point. So we're all here to help each other. I'm passionate to try and help you out. It's a game changer if you do it. And I think it's just a very, very positive thing. And I'm glad we got this business started because it did not exist. So love to help you.
And again, thank you so much. And I'm going to tell everybody, please follow us on all the majors, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We're all out there. And then also we'll be on YouTube. And it will be under Sally Good, Ph.D., not Good Body, Good Brain. That's my personal one. So we will hope, and wouldn't it be nice about 90 days from now, we got back together and you could tell me some good testimonials that have come out of here from this podcast, from people just hearing this podcast. So thank everybody for listening.
I appreciate it.
And please punch that subscribe or follow or whatever that's up there. And so I'm going to say thank you so much. I'm going to press the end recording button now. So we're going to say aloha, and thank you so much.
Aloha, everybody. Thank you.